Stinging nettles are a very common weed found in the garden. Today we're going to show you why they are the most delicious thing you could possibly eat. Our head chef Jason is going to showcase how to cook a stinging nettle risotto. After freshly picking the nettles, we wear gloves and strip the leaves.
Just putting these stinging nettles in and getting rid of the little stingies by boiling them, which will break down in that process, so you can actually eat them. So also just a little bit of spinach, that will give us that nice colour and give it a little bit of a flavour as well. So I just let these boil for maybe 2 minutes just to get rid of those stingies. And then I'm just going to turn it off and transport it over to this bucket that's got some water that's been in the freezer just to stop the colour from dropping out. Anything green has chlorophyll in it, so as soon as it gets too much heat, if you don't refresh it in ice water or pretty cold water, you'll lose all that green colour. That's a pretty important sort of stage. So now I've got my spinach and my nettles that have been blanched, and now I'm going to put them in this blender with a little bit of olive oil. I'm just going to blend it into a puree for a later time in this technique of making a risotto. Oil's going in and a little bit of salt. And then time to blend. So that should be nice and smooth now. So as you can see, I've blended it nice and smooth. It's not too runny, not too thick, which you'll see later on in the process why that's important towards the end. So we'll keep this on the side towards the end of our risotto, and we'll move on to the next stage. Gently on a warm heat, I'm just going to brown off some onions. So I've got a whole onion finely diced. I just want to gently cook that. So this has been cooking for a couple of minutes now. I'm just going to add the rice. I'm going to add about 2 cups of rice. And I'm just going to give that a bit of a stir. You want quite a lot of onion to rice ratio. You want it pretty, not even, but I like a lot of onion in mine. So all I'm doing here is just continuing that slow cook process. Now you want to get a little bit of heat through the rice before you start adding the liquid and the garlic. Just keep moving it around. Just adding my garlic in now, maybe 2 cloves of garlic. If you want a little bit more, if you like garlic, you can put as much garlic as you like. And just off to the side, I've got my stock, chicken stock that's been brought to the boil, and I'm just keeping it warm. I'm going to increase the heat. And then I'm just going to put in a couple of ladles of stock to begin with. We'll give it a good mix. So as you can see, that liquid started to cook out, so now it's all about just slowly adding it. You get it to this stage, then add another ladle or so of liquid, and you just keep repeating the process. So the liquid's cooked out again. It's getting, the pan's getting a bit drier, it's absorbing some of that stock. So when I get to this period where it's getting pretty thick and it's going to start to catch, just add some more stock, maybe another ladle and a half, and just repeat that process over and over again. Until it gets thick, then you add more stock until we get it almost cooked, and then we move to the next process. So you just keep testing the grains. Just grab a spoon, grab a little bit out and have a bite of the rice, and you want it to be still a little bit of tenderness to it, not completely cooked. So you want it probably 2/3 cooked. So this one's still a little bit off where I need it to be. I've tasted my rice and it's not quite cooked. So this is the time when I'm going to add my puree that we made earlier. It's really important when you add this not to cook it for too long, because the longer you cook this, more that you're going to lose your green color. So I just mix that through, and we're just going to reduce it a little bit. So I'm just going to add some salt, a good amount of salt. Give it a mix. To add my Parmesan cheese. So I'm just going to add some knobs of butter as I go. Put a few in it to begin with. Let that mix through. Now, as you can see, there's no cream going into this one. A good risotto should never ever have any cream. Just butter to give it a nice shine and richness. So I just let that butter melt in and emulsify in, and then I'll add a little bit more butter. So now we just grab a plate. Risotto should always be on a plate, never in a bowl. That's a bit of an Italian faux pas. Risotto in the middle, and just give the plate a little bit of a shake. And as you can see, it just holds its shape perfectly. And I'll just get a little bit more cheese and grate it over the top. And finish with a little bit of olive oil. You can add some mint to it if you like, some peas, some broad beans would be nice in it. But that's a pretty basic and traditional stinging nettle risotto. There you are.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank
Enjoy.
you so much. Thank you. It's good. Very nice. It's very nice.